Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to I still say it's our new weekly live stream because it's still new and we're still finding out various ways of technology, as Sadie, who I'll introduce you to in a moment, and I have found out already this morning some technical issues in going live. But this is the weekly live stream from the Age Diversity Forum, where we aim to discuss topical and strategic and long-term issues around age diversity in the workplace. We'll be discussing the challenges, but also absolutely the opportunities that exist for individuals and organisations that, with a focus towards an age diverse workforce, the absolute values and benefits that can be gained. Why did we start doing live streams? We need to amplify the message for age diversity. Simple as that. Unfortunately, age is part of the D&I agenda, and one of the protected characteristics still falls a little bit short in priorities with a lot of organisations. So this year we are running the Making a Noise campaign, hashtag Making a Noise. Please use it where you can. And within that programme, we have a number of initiatives that are already up and running, like our new international journal, which you can access via our website and our various media channels, particularly LinkedIn and Twitter, where between certainly predominantly between the UK and the US, our team in the US, we are showcasing the common challenges and opportunities that are faced each and every day in organisations and with individuals in these two continents. And so, you know, there's no geographic boundaries at all to that. This live stream is also part of that Making a Noise programme. And we've also got our June 11th ChampionAgeDiversity Day that I'll talk a little bit more about later on. But anyway, I'm Steve Anderson, Chief Exec at the Age Diversity Forum. I'm here with my colleague Sadie. Sadie, who at the moment, oh, there she is. She was just in the corner. But Sadie is our editor-in-chief. She's got many other strings to that bow, but in terms of these live events, she's at the exact production controls to keep everything in order and to keep me in particular and to keep this to running to schedule and on time. We're here for 30 minutes, and it's a strict 30 minutes because we're appreciative of everyone's time and it's to keep me to a discipline of actually talking about the interesting stuff. So as I mentioned, we've had a couple of test runs already with a couple of guests, including Tony Williams, a great friend of the Age Diversity Forum. First met Tony at Barclays, one of our champion partners, and now he's very much a great friend and ambassador for the Age Diversity Forum, and has produced some really good content for us that can be found in our international journal and on our website. So please, beyond this environment, I know Sadie will be sharing this in various places as well, post-event for others to see at their leisure. Hopefully, as I say, technical issues aside, we're live and you're able to see this, or if you're watching this whilst we're live, we have the chat facility. So please let us know if you're out there by putting a comment, even if just say hello in the chat, that'd be great, or with any questions about what we're talking about. And if you're watching this subsequently, then please respond and in the message box, or contact us through our email subsequently, and we'll be very happy and delighted to chat with you about all and everything age diversity. So I mentioned the Making a Noise campaign. So just again, a plug for our new international journal that is published on a monthly basis. It's the first Wednesday of each month. It's in collaboration with our US team, and in the publications to date, you'll see things like a recording of Jim Tabazinski, who leads our US effort, discussing the fact that there are no geographical boundaries to the age diversity question and challenge. And in the latest issue, we've had some fantastic input from our age diversity champions, Deborah Ruhr, the Ruhr Global Impact organization based down near Atlanta in the US, where showcasing the intersectional nature of diversity and inclusion. So both those topics, the geography of diversity and the intersectional nature of diversity, where age, by the way, transposes all other D&I strands. So a consideration for age really consolidates an approach and consideration for inclusion in the workplace. Both of those absolutely huge topics, and we'll be reverting to those for sure over the coming weeks, coming months. Another huge topic that Sadie and I began to discuss last week around the age agenda is the multi-generational aspect, in that in the workplace today, you can absolutely see up to 4 or 5 different age groups, categories, the baby boomers, the millennials, the Gen X's, etc., etc. And whilst we love to categorize people, part of what we're looking to achieve, part of our purpose, is to smooth out these generational groups in terms of how can we get those multi-generational groups collaborating, partnering, working together, really getting the benefit and values of everyone. I wanted to move that conversation on a little bit this week, but just to another little plug, if I may, for our June the 11th Champion Age Diversity Day, where just been talking about multi-generational aspects, and whatever your age, there's value and contribution that can be given and achieved by organizations. And on June 11th is where we look to celebrate that collaboration between all age groups. We initiated it in 2019. We further developed that last year. Even within lockdown, we had a fantastic day, and with some really good events with global leaders raising the profile of age. It was fantastic. We were trending on LinkedIn, which is good, I understand. And we're aiming to ramp up that opportunity and interest again this year. So we welcome involvement, interest, engagement from everyone and from all organizations, and we're already working on some content for the day, and organizations that are looking to really showcase and age diversity for the day. If I dare say it, our newest champion, I think, as of this week, Elsevier, global organization that have really got some fantastic consideration, and where they want to utilize the consideration for age across all geography, all their locations. I've got some fantastic ideas for June 11th as well. So over the coming weeks, we'll be releasing more information about how people get involved, but also what others are doing, and let's see if we can, really get the ball rolling on our 3rd Champion Age Diversity Day. So the multi-generational aspect. this week, I attended a board meeting for the Institute of Coding. The Institute of Coding is a UK government programme seeking to address the digital skills challenge. So, and this is formed in what education is providing in terms of, particularly through universities. So what academia is being taught and achieved, and with industry partners, what industry is looking for in terms of jobs of the future, which in how technology moves so quickly is probably the jobs of now. So there's an immediate challenge there of aligning, for example, 3-4 year degree course with how technology moves within industry. And at the IOC conference in last year, we had representation from large international tech organisations like of IBM and Microsoft, who were talking about their own internal training and development was on a cycle of around sort of 18 months, to keep people up to speed with new ways of working and processes and technology. So if you think about that alongside a 4-year degree course, or potentially students are already behind the curve, when they graduate. So it's about how to keep the educational process going, how to make it accessible and inclusive for as many people as possible. And so this week, at the board meeting, I sit on the Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Board, and of course, representing the age agenda, and we've got many people around the table representing various protected characteristics. And one of the key focuses of the programme was to bring more girls, more women into technology, address that gender balance, to ensure that the design and development of technology was better reflective of society. And this week we were presented some data by Manchester Metropolitan University, who are the D&I theme leaders within the programme, and some quite revealing data, some good news on the gender balance side, where there was almost parity in terms of enrolment. And when I talk about enrolment on these courses that have been structured and designed via the Institute of Coding, and I think it's about 35 UK universities, it was round about a 50-50, I think just slightly lower female enrolment, but much improved on historic data. But one of the other bits of data that came out unintentionally in a way, although as you can imagine around that boardroom table I'm banging the drum for age diversity, there was quite revealing data about the age group that were enrolling, or the age groups that were enrolling in these courses, and very much a multi-generational enrolment scheme. And around 45% of totally people enrolled. By the way, I've just gone on to mention, of all those courses, there's been hundreds of thousands of people that have enrolled for these courses over the last year or so. I think certainly spiked because of the whole COVID situation and people working and learning from home. But around 45% of enrollees were over the age of 40, and about 20% of those over the age of 50. And quite interesting that one of the stereotypes that we look to and myths that we look to banish or at least mitigate is that the older population and technology don't mix, and it's like technology is only for one age category. This absolutely shows at least the interest to learn and to be educated in digital skills. Around 60% of people that took courses, digital skills courses, made a note to say they took them to improve their employment prospects. So I think that's again recognition that technology just plays a bigger part in our working lives and in our the way we live and the way we work. And again, during COVID, everything's gone online, hasn't it? In terms of whether we're shopping or whether we're learning or whether we're having situations like this where through media we can go live and we can talk to people and discuss stuff. And 1 in 4 of enrollees, so I'm looking down, just reading off a bit of a crib sheet, experienced a positive impact to their career. Now, whether that was in being more available for a more technical role, whether it's enhancing the opportunity for promotion, or actually giving them the tools to consider wider job opportunities, whether within their current organisation or beyond. So it looks like I've frozen, but I'm back. So that's good. One of our technical hitches. Do apologise. So so the whole multi-generational question linked to the gender question shows that intersectional approach that was one of the other huge topics that I mentioned. And I wondered, from the Institute of Coding perspective, we can see this data, and it's great to show, what great work we've done, and show this to government about, all the good things. But I wanted to bring in Sadie at this point, and Sadie, who is currently at Western College and going through a production course, and whether or not the technology aspect or things like STEM subjects, more generally, whether that's visible, whether it's promoted, whether it's felt by the student population. So not really a question there, Sadie, but an invitation to comment. So over to you.
So I'm obviously, wait, can you hear me? Are you fine with hearing me?
And we've had one of those technical problems. So apologies, everyone. I think Sadie's on her way back at any point. We did see this in our test just beforehand, but
more technical issues. This isn't going well. So
technical issues that whatever your age, we can sort out.
Absolutely. So I'm obviously on a creative meet, so I do film production. So we don't get a lot of advertisement for STEM subjects and for like engineering and coding and things. That's usually on the A-level side where they have all the science. But in secondary school, so that was like 2 years ago now, I was very much invested in going into STEM. That was my 2 options were film production and STEM. I would have gone into science. And that spanned throughout the whole of my time at secondary school. So there was a lot of promotion for, especially us ladies, to go into STEM. There was a lot of promotion. They were always encouraging us. There were after school clubs where it's like you can go and you can just explore science. You don't have to, it wasn't necessarily you had to pick, like we'd be doing physics or this or that. We could just go in and we could do whatever we wanted relating to science. So we used to just look through textbooks and find things that we found interesting. There were competitions we could go to. I was in a STEM competition, and we got to go to Bristol Uni and do this whole competition thing. It was a lot of fun. So there is a lot of promotion, especially in the secondary school I went to. I don't know about any others, but from that, a lot of my friends at my school went into science, and they're now doing it as an A-level and they want to pursue that as a career. So there is a lot of push to go into STEM. And I think it's really interesting how we get taught that from a young age. Like I was 11 when I first got introduced to it. But I think it's a shame that I don't see a lot of promotion for older people to go into STEM. And I think that's something that needs to be targeted. They stop at a certain point, and I think they need to carry on, because it's not just young people that should go into STEM, it's older people too.
And yes, really, that's interesting. I mean, it's great news to hear that there is that visibility and that encouragement at a younger age to help. I guess, from the secondary school where you're choosing you're beginning to choose options, aren't you, of what you decide to consider in the education pathway. But I said, as we saw in the Institute of Coding data, the data there is showing a keen interest from different age groups, and particular older age groups, in digital skills, and you could align that in some way to the STEM subjects and the broader balance of who are these subjects aimed at, and who are we looking to encourage to participate in them. So as society and in the work environment, we have a more balanced approach that actually we get the benefits of the gender balance input into how things are designed and developed in terms of products and services. But if we can mix the multi-generational components of skills, of experience, of know-how, of technology, then we're going to have a much better opportunity to be successful in society and in the workplace. So I think it's good that data is showing some evidence towards a more multi-generational interest and consideration for how digital skills can help one's career path and develop personally and technical competence. But that is being identified and recognised at an early age as well, to translate through education and career, because that's where we begin to bridge skills gaps, skills gaps that we hear talked about a lot of time, whether it's from industry, people saying, oh, well, we're just not seeing the right skills come through, or educators saying, well, what skills do you want? And it's trying to match up that challenge of those skills. As I mentioned, in the digital skills environment, there's an additional challenge on the how quickly technology develops and progresses, and how it influences our lives. And again, I think that's something where collaboration between age groups can absolutely help. I mean, on the film production side that you're particularly interested in, is it something that you see as a fair and equitable environment for women, and for as a career path? Do we see enough multi-generational groups throughout that career? Are you able to see that yet? Have you experienced any of that yet?
Yeah, there's a lot of mixture of everything in film production. So we'll be doing a lot of calls. We go on calls with different companies and different production houses, and they're always mixed age, mixed race, mixed everything. Everything is always, everyone's really inclusive. I haven't met anyone who isn't yet. I'm sure I will in the future, and I will do my best to not support that and help them become more mixed in their staff. But yeah, it's such an inclusive place. I think in the media, however, especially in Hollywood, we see a lot of male producers, male directors. There's a lot of male actors, and they get a lot more hype. But I think at the moment, especially with the people I've surrounded myself with, there's going to be a lot more women coming into that. And the same age, we got a lot of older directors, older producers, but there's a lot of actors now, of young people who are coming up, and they're doing really well, and it's nice to see. It is.
But I guess what you're outlining there is that the intersectional nature of the different diversity parts of the inclusion agenda, the the type of perceived industry and who's in it and who's historically been in it, but hopefully the change in demographic of people coming into that sphere, and that it sounds like that there is good encouragement and inclusion at an early stage to ensure that people aren't put off by perceived barriers that may be there in the future. And from the other side of the equation, I would hope also that you begin to experience and see that people that do have long experience within the industry that you're researching and investigating, you can learn from those experiences and that understanding as well. And that shared collaboration actually produces a much better outcome for everybody, which is, it's very easy to say, very quick to say that, but it's such a huge challenge, and there's still absolutely much more work to be done for sure. And through these live streams, we're hoping to make a dent in those in the discussion, in the conversation, remove the bias, to mitigate the stereotyping, to ensure that at whatever age, whatever part of your education career, that there's a continued opportunity to learn, to have access to education, to have opportunity to access a job and a career that is of interest and where you can absolutely put yourself into it. I think that's something else that's changing as part of the way society develops, in a way that people went to jobs because we have an education, we get a job, and sort of that's it. But it's about being more happy in the workplace, the whole well-being aspects. That if you're happy in the workplace, you're generally healthier. If you're happy and healthy in the workplace, you generally produce a better outcome, which is better for the economy overall. I mean, that's a huge topic that we're getting into now, so I'm going to stop there. And again, I'm conscious of time already as this discussion goes away from us. So I'm just going to take a moment to say that Sadie, as part of her work with us, produces a weekly, we call them snapshot video. It's a short 30-second, minute-long video each Wednesday to highlight an aspect of the values and benefits of age diversity. But it also is a place where Sadie signposts to various articles and events, and where we welcome your contribution and participation. So please keep an eye out for that. They go out in particular on LinkedIn and Twitter. So please keep an eye out for those. And our YouTube channel, which is an ever-expanding inventory of content now, which is fantastic, which is Sadie is really helping develop. It's a moment in time just to review the chat box. I don't see anything really to comment on there, or any specific questions about what we've been talking about. But please, if you've got any as a result of looking back on this, and I say please do contact us by the website or by email. Fantastic. I mentioned earlier about articles that are kindly being contributed from various people, and we welcome individuals to contact us if you've got any specific story of your own, whether that's as an individual or an organization. We gladly look to share and showcase that information. And just lastly, over the coming weeks, I say we've got this is our regular weekly slot. I hope it's a time and day that suits more people than less, as it were. But as I said, we'll be reverting to those big topics of multi-generational intersectionality and the geography of inclusion. We will be giving more details around June 11th, the Champion Age Diversity Day. We really want to step up that involvement this year. And we have some other guests lined up from our champion partners, as well as guest contributors. So we'll look to highlight those as early as possible. So there might be someone of particular interest that you would like to hear from. So I'm looking at the time. I think we're bang on, Sadie, which is unusual for me. So thank you, Sadie, for your help in production of this, and thanks to everyone for watching now and over the coming week, when we'll showcase this recording on our, media channels. And have a good week, everyone. Take care, and if not before, we'll see you same time next week.